They share our emotions, our sensitivity, our intelligence.
They don't just do, they think.
But above all, they share our need to be with each other.
This baby seems quite happy to be passed around, adoring aunts and cousins.
Charlotte Ollenbrook embarks on a global adventure in search of our closest natural relatives.
I'll be exploring the world of primates.
It's time to meet our cousins. Tomorrow at 7 on BBC One.
BBC Two presents a fresh look to weekday afternoons featuring 3 of the best.
That was exciting, wasn't it?
Back to back,
We have a studio filled with stars.
good cooking, great conversation,
We've heard it from the experts.
and a real test of character.
It's time to vote off the weakest link.
A gripping new quiz show rounds off an afternoon's triple bill, weekdays from 3:30 only on BBC Two.
Here on BBC One, make yourself at home.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome to Through the Keyhole, the show that looks at more possessions than an exorcist. As always, we borrowed the keys to 2 fascinating homes belonging to 2 well-known personalities. And with Lloyd Grossman's sainted help, we'll be taking a privileged peep behind closed doors. But the question is, whose? Well, to try and answer that question, we have our panel. And what a panel it is. You could build another Millennium Dome for what these people are worth. Our first panelist is a man of many voices, which is unnerving for his wife, who regularly goes to sleep with Roger Moore and wakes up with Victor Meldrew. Will you welcome Mr. Bobby Devereux?
I did it!
Our next panelist is a sports fanatic. In fact, when the Olympic Games are on, she will only answer the phone after 5 rings. She's a skydiver, a golfer, and a walker. In fact, Miss A Walker and a walker. Our third panelist has a wonderfully infectious laugh. Unfortunately, he runs so fast, no one can catch it. But it's Chris Akabusi. Great laugh, great laugh. So, what's the game all about then? Well, all our worthy panellists and you at home indeed have to do is to scrutinise, analyse and summarise the evidence that will reveal the owner or owners of our 2 celebrity dwellings. So if you're ready to play Sherlock to their homes, let's join Lloyd right now at house number 1. And watch closely because remember, the clues are there as we go through the keyhole.
As you enter this house, you come into a huge hall, and this huge hall is dominated by a gigantic, almost triple-width staircase. So you can tell that whoever lives here likes to be the center of attention, is someone who enjoys making a splashy entrance. Now, the shape of this room is very unconventional. It's almost like being in the middle of a wedge of cheddar cheese. But the person who lives here is very much a traditionalist. They love traditional design values, for example. So there are neoclassical goddesses in oval medallions scattered around the walls. And they're also very fond of traditional English heroes. Lord Nelson makes a very fine umbrella stand indeed. This room has more than a hint of Gone with the Wind glamour and elegance to it. So, for example, there are Doric columns. There are glittery wall sconces. and one of these fabulous black and white floors that one used to see in old MGM musicals. Now, you can tell from looking at the pictures on the walls that the family who live here very much like the romance and the glamour of the past. And it looks to me as if they're quite sort of sociable, gregarious people as well who like entertaining. But here's more evidence of that love of history and tradition, and maybe it shows too that someone in this household is a bit of a fighter. Well, it seems to me that the same person who likes making that grand entrance down the triumphal staircase is very interested in studying the lives and careers of other larger-than-life figures. So we've got a bookcase here that is full of biographies of showbiz legends, and most of them are what I would call old-fashioned film stars. So I think someone in this household has a real fondness for the great classics of black and white cinema. You can tell that this is a games-playing household, and judging by some of the hardware, they seem to be pretty good at it. As you travel down to the other end of the drawing room, and I say travel because you are covering a huge distance, you can see from all the big furniture and the wide open spaces that indeed this is the household of a very, very, very expansive personality. Now, you've all heard of the Oscars and the Emmys and the BAFTAs, but whoever lives here seems to have won both a silver trowel and a golden paintbrush. So the whole business of building is taken quite seriously. I also see that someone here is a dedicated fisherman, so that means lots of patience and concentration. As you come into the bedroom, you confront a large and pretty well-thumbed stack of glossy magazines, and once again, this shows an interest in big personalities, legends, film stars, and so on. Now, this is all within the context of fairly traditional taste, though. You can see nice floral patterns here and soft, romantic colors. There's a very spacious walk-in wardrobe off the master bedroom, so you can tell the clothes and dressing up are very important to this family. Certainly someone around here likes being the center of attention. You wouldn't necessarily use words like romantic and traditional to describe this gear. From this setting, you can tell that this house suits not only a keen angler, but also anyone who's interested in natural history and wildlife. Now let's look at the evidence. The fighting spirit, patience and precision, the center of attention. Who lives in a house like this? David, it's over to you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Lloyd. And now for our home and studio audience, but not for our panel, here's whose house it is. Sounded like a warm welcome there, but for whom? Bobby.
Nice pad, isn't it? Very nice. It looks the sort of house that was built by the person that lives in it. I don't know if that's true. How'd that feel?
Well, I think you're psychic.
Really?
I think you're psychic. You're absolutely
I am
correct.
Well, maybe that's why he's got a silver trowel, because he's some sort of builder, famous architect, maybe. There was a lot of coats of arms and flags flying there, which sort of indicate that he's very British and, you know, plays for England type thing. But what does he do? Lloyd said he was a bit of a fighter. Could that suggest him being a boxer of some sort?
Not quite a boxer, but you're...
Not a boxer.
Not a boxer, but...
Maybe, perhaps, no, not as Chrissy Lank. Maybe somebody else. Someone... Are we looking at a sportsman? We are looking at a sport person.
We are looking at a sports person. Anna.
A fighter, sports person, centre of attention seemed quite important with the staircase, and you mentioned it several times. I'm not sure who quite wears gold lame tops, if it's the man we're talking about.
The man.
It is.
Because that was very confusing, mixed with the fishing and the patience and concentration. You know, I can't imagine somebody like Elton John sitting down with a fishing rod like that. It looked like his wardrobe, didn't it?
Chris.
So we've got an architectural sports person so far.
The grand entrance, the centre of the stage, the walking down the balustrade, or walking down the balustrade, between the balustrade, walking down the stairs. Is it somebody that's moved on into the entertainment? I mean, were they a sportsman or a sports person moved into entertainment? No, they weren't.
Not a boxer.
Yeah. No,
Definitely not a boxer.
Well, what sport would you look for that has a high dose of
Patience and
entertainment in it?
Football.
Or wrestling.
What kit was that? The new Manchester United kit, isn't it?
Wrestling.
Darts.
Darts.
I know who it is.
On the hockey.
Could it be a sort of Toppling Dean type character? You know, ice.
No, it's darts. I know who it is. I know who it is.
Jockey
Am I allowed to say?
Go on,
No,
go on.
it's not Jockey Y-fronts. It's the other one, Bobby George.
Yes! Bobby George, will you come through the keyhole? Well, Dabro and company and Chris with the darts, they were onto it pretty quickly there, Bobby.
Yeah. It's a little glittery top that gave it away, really. Can you still get into that now? Because it's nice to see you've got over that anorexia. How can you get into that? It was a little skimpy number, wasn't it?
Do you want to borrow it sometime or something?
No, I don't want to borrow it. No. Well, maybe just on a Friday night, maybe.
But that is one of your costumes that Lloyd was... Was
I wear all the glitter, the cloaks, and just for fun. It's not really me. I meet people in Sainsbury's and Tesco's and they say, "Where's your cloak?" I think I walk around it all the time. It's just...
It's very disillusioning to find that you don't, you see. we all believed it there. Well, you've got a couple of chains on there, so that's just a little bit of sweet. Oh, and
like Mr. T.
And one or two watches.
Yeah,
no,
only one.
One watch, that's another one. Oh, well, it's a great outfit. Now, the thing is about the thing is about that house, you're a real first on this programme because you really, as Bobby was saying there, you really built this house, didn't you?
Yeah, I built the whole thing, yeah.
The whole thing?
Everything. I lived in a hut for 2 years. I felt like Rumpelstiltskin. I had to bury me gold in the garden every night. And I built it from nothing to George Hall, as it is now.
But I mean, but when you say you built it,
No, I actually built it. I didn't get... I had friends and relations. Not many friends, David, mind you.
Right.
When you're building a house, you don't see many
They
friends.
all go away.
But I had relations and my wife, and we all mucked in and I built it myself. I didn't pay a contractor to do it.
And how many bedrooms are there?
18 bedrooms.
18 bedrooms. How often do they fall?
I make love to my wife every night in a different room.
How many rooms each night, though?
I'm not that good, Dave.
You know what my wife said to me? She wanted to make love in the kitchen. I said, why in the kitchen? She said, I want to time an egg.
Actually, it's a romantic story. You said that your wife, Marie, that you fell in love with her in 6 seconds. Is that right?
Yeah, I met her on Valentine's Day, and I said to a friend of mine, I said, I'm going to marry that lady. And I did, straight away. Amazing.
How soon after that did you marry after Valentine's?
A couple of years later. I would have married her 20 years before.
If you'd met.
But she was in her pram. So.
Now, you only started playing darts when you were 29, I read. Is that right?
Yeah, 29.
You didn't grow up as a child with an ambition to be a darts player?
No, I just picked a set of darts up. I used to dig tunnels and granite floors and plastering, and all I'd done was work, basically. I'm glad I did, because I learnt all the trades to do my house. But I went in a pub and I started playing darts, and I had a gift I didn't know I had. Just something that I had which I didn't know. So.
And, I mean, do you train when you when a lot with darts? Did you used to?
Well, when I first started, obviously I was on the board all the time. I used to go take a dartboard in the boot of my car with me. And because I'd done granite floors, I had to work long hours, because in the winter time, granite floors don't go off very quick. They don't set so fast. So I took the board with me and I used to go in different pubs and play darts all over the country. So it gave me time, and my work gave me time to be good at darts. And from there, people asked me to come to their pub and their club, and that's how I became a professional. But I didn't actually say I was going to be a professional dart player. People asked me to be a professional dart player, which is nice.
Do you have any ambitions left in darts?
I like to be the oldest guy ever to win the embassy, and the way I'm going, I probably will be.
Here, this is it. This is our way of saying to you, Bobby, thank you very much for being with us. It's been a delight. And we'll leave you to go back home and
thanks very much.
Travel from bedroom to bedroom, as you described. Bobby George, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, I wonder who's next. Let's join Lloyd right now at house number 2 as we go through the Keyhole.
Well, whoever lives here likes telephones. They've got some terrific examples of phones, modern and ancient, and I think they spend a lot of time yakking, jawing. This person loves to know everything that's going on everywhere. That's why they've got this football pitch-sized, widescreen satellite television. They've got to keep in touch with the news 24 hours a day. They obviously have had some connection with the music business, because we've got a trio of gold records hanging on the walls here. And indeed, if you look at what they like reading about, show business figures pretty large. There are a lot of show business biographies and a lot of reference books to do with film and television. There's also a fairly heavy sprinkling of football literature in here, like the Book of Football Quotations. But these trophies here aren't for any sporting triumphs. They're for being a great son and a great uncle. Because as you can see from all these photographs, whoever lives here is indeed a very, very, very devoted family man. And there are 2 framed original cartoons on the walls here, so you can see that this person doesn't mind poking fun at himself. In this small but perfectly formed office, we can see a lot of the character traits that were hinted at in the living room. For example, the need to communicate, 2 telephones again. The need to know, to constantly be in touch, another satellite television, and 3 zappers. And there's all the paraphernalia of deal-making and business, loads of diaries and daybooks, and even stereo briefcases. Another bit of tycoonery are the cigars. Look at that. This person likes to use that cigar as a prop. But even though he thinks he's a hard-bitten businessman, he's actually quite an emotional fellow. Otherwise, why such a big box of tissues? Now, there are loads of books here that are anthologies of jokes and witticisms and anecdotes, so I guess this person does a lot of after-dinner speaking. But you can also tell from this big collection of football yearbooks that football actually is rather important around here, and there's even a very impressive signed football. I guess this person is very, very taken with what we could call old-fashioned pop music, because after all, there's a whole shelf full of vinyl. Of course there's another television in the bedroom. In fact, it's so big that for a minute I almost thought it was the bed. And there are more telephones. Now, I notice there are 2 alarm clocks by the bedside. So either this person is obsessed with punctuality, or he just finds it terribly difficult to get up in the morning. Now, whoever lives here is hardly a shrinking violet. Check out the colors of these designer shirts. This person really likes to be noticed. Now, let's look at the evidence. Big on television. A football fan. Havana's best customer. Who lives in a house like this? David, it's over to you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Lloyd. And now, for our home and studio audience, here's whose house it is. Chris.
Whoever it is smokes a whopping big cigar or stands there with a huge cigar, so I can't imagine it being a female gender. It's got to be a male. Whoever it is, time is of the essence, and I think works in a couple of time zones. It's, maybe sometimes is in one side of the country, one side of the continent, and works something the other side of the continent. Involved in sports management maybe sort of thing. And I have a Jewish background. I saw a couple of books there on Jewry and stuff, so I think he must be Jewish.
Anna.
Yeah, he's obviously somebody who loves talking on the phone. That was quite obvious from the number of phones around the table. And I'm pleased to see a big fan of satellite television as well. Also, heavily into not just football, that's quite obvious, he's into football, all the Rothmans books and all the rest of it, but also show business, stars, theatre, film stars, all that. And I love that word tycoon. He's a tycoon who wears loud shirts. That's very obvious.
Right.
Very like yourself, Bobby.
Very much like myself. In fact, I think I recognise one of the shirts as being a similar sort of one to the one I'm wearing. Actually, got to be very keen on watching TV. He's either got very keen on watching TV or he's got very bad eyesight. First of all, when I thought the cigars TV, I thought it might be Jimmy Savile, you see, but no, it wasn't, because it didn't get a round of applause, but never mind, that was the trout. And family man, signed football, I couldn't actually see it was signed for, signed by rather, what football team? No clues there, maybe not one particular.
No, it was Spurs, wasn't there?
Spurs?
Spurs was in there, somewhere. I saw Venables.
Book on Venables.
And I saw something else
You're
about
probably a big Spurs fan, They don't know, all the players signed it, apart from the goalie. He got his fingers to it. Tycoon, he's definitely an agent of some sort. And I've got a feeling I'm going to get this one. Is this a monster kind of an agent, a monster agent?
Eric Hall.
Who is it?
It's got to be Eric Hall.
Eric Hall.
Eric Hall it is. Eric Hall will come through the keyhole. How are you? Good to see you. Very good to see you.
I'm so glad they got me, because you feel such a schmuck. You say, and it's Eric Hall. Who? Good to thank God. I'll pay you later, give you the bun later.
Well, you certainly, and you've come out with
David, I've got to tell you, Bubla, it's a privilege to be here with you, because I've been a fan of yours for so many years.
Well, that's very nice.
From old Denmark Street days with lovely Richard Armitage.
Oh, with Richard Armitage, because that's why the vinyl's there, isn't it, for the music publishing.
I was a 15, left school, and I went into the music business, Mills Music, Denmark Street, with a man called Tony Hiller, packing parcels, you know, and making tea. And
with Elton John?
Elton John, we started together, yes. Awful packer, great pianist, but terrible packer. He was such a terrible packer. I was the best packer.
You just keep talking, Eric, because I'm getting the impression off of that.
No, I don't.
Before it sounded a bit like, what's his name?
And now, what converted you to becoming a football agent?
I'm very surprised I'm actually a football agent, because the first thing I tried to change when I got into football was free kicks. We should pay a few quid, shouldn't we?
Pay a few quid.
Crazy. No, actually, it was an accident, really, because I went to a club in the West End one night. I saw Terry Venables, talking about lovely Terry again. He was going off to Epping. No, I love it.
Breaking out in the sweat now.
Endless, I'm sweating. No, we went to a function in Epping Country Club in Essex. And I was chatting to this lovely guy at the bar, I knew nothing about football, I was in the music business. What do you do? And he said, my name's Stevie, and what do you do? And I told him what I did. He said, I'm a football player. It was Steve Perryman, who was then captain of Spurs, who said, Eric, you ever thought about being an agent in football? I said, no, you're joking, I know nothing about football, which I didn't. He said, you don't have to, you know, Keith Birkinshaw, because he was then the manager, off the field activities. So when I got involved when I became Steve's agent. And the first show I ever got was Crackerjack. BBC, no, true. True. I found out a lovely man, rest his lovely soul, called Paul Ciani, who produced Crackerjack. I said, Paul, what about Steve Perryman? He said, well, who did he recall for? I mean, because nobody ever knew to actually promote these footballers. So I started it off, and I love football. I really do.
And now you've got how many clients altogether?
35 and a half.
35 and a half.
Well, Dennis Wise, his service.
And are they all London footballers or what?
No, they're all over the place. All over the place.
Any foreign footballers or just British?
No, I've got a few Jewish players, but I said they don't give free kicks, so I don't want to have No, mainly English players and Londonish, yeah. I don't like travelling. I'm like wine, I don't travel. Well, I do travel well, but I don't like travelling too much.
And is Dennis Wise your #1 client?
No, my client, no, Emmis. Jewish word means the truth. Emmis, I don't care who they play for, what they play for. All my clients are important as each other. I remember a great old story, which is relative to what you just asked me.
Yeah.
Many, many years ago, I worked for a man called Lovely Lou Grade. And I was Jewish, also East End of London, smoked cigars. They said, are you a relative? I said, yes, I'm like low grade. You know, but I made it. But seriously, he went to see a show one night with the great late Al McCogan, and on that bill was a man called Kenny Lynch. After the show, you probably know this story, Lou Grade went backstage, saw Kenny and said, my son, he said, you were marvellous. Sensational. He said, you should be better than doing this tonight. You should be top of the bill. Have you got an agent? He said, yes. He said, who is it? He said, you are Mr. Grade. So you can't have too many clients. So I got 35-ish, that's a fact, and that's enough.
Yeah. And what's the biggest change you've made in their lives?
Money. I believe I have helped that, and I think it's lovely. The panel will tell you, some of the panel here, lovely Mrs. Sky TV there. How are you, Bobalana?
You're talking to me.
He wasn't looking at me.
Mrs. Sky TV.
I tell you what I'd like to know, Eric. How does the football business sort of compare with the music business in terms of the people you deal with and the kind of
like pop singers.
The difference that money has made to it?
They are like pop stars. They can't sing. Pop stars. No, I'm a bit old-fashioned. No, I believe I have actually, again, asked that seriously-ish, is that I kind of changed it, made it, you know, I started promoting footballers where they weren't promoted before, like Hello magazines and OK magazines and all those other leading magazines.
They're like the pop stars of yesteryear,
they are the
really
pop stars.
now.
No, of today, not yesteryear, Bubbler. No, today. Not yesteryear.
But in the meantime, Bobby, wouldn't you like to be represented by an agent like Eric?
I would indeed, only because I can impersonate him better like this. I've got to get myself some cigars, haven't I? That's what I want to do. Any good?
Very good. You've got the job. He's got the job. Here it is, Eric. This is our way of saying thank you for being with us. Thank you for showing us your home. Thank you for the shoes. Thank you for everything. Through the Keyhole says thank you very much to Eric Hall. Not to mention Bobby George. Not to mention Bobby Davro. Not to mention Anna Walker. Not to mention Chris Akabisi. They're all here in the family. Until the next time, goodbye for now.
Soap operas, today's topic for Esther, with guests including Wendy Richard. It's part of the new afternoon lineup in 10 minutes on BBC Two.